Hey guys. Okay, so I thought I would do a vlog today. This is very crooked, I apologize. So let's have breakfast together and enjoy these amazing looking overnight oats. Overnight oats always look disgusting in my opinion. Oh, and I think I also didn't put enough milk in them. They're a bit tough. Anyway. They actually taste fine. They just don't have enough liquid. Okay, anyway. I am off this week. You may have seen my botched vlog where I went on a reading vacation. Anyway, today is Thursday and it's like about 9:45. So, today I woke up, I did yoga, and then I thought of a project. So, here's a project. I want to read loads of books this month and get my TBR down as much as I can. Yesterday, I did not film it, but I unhauled 94 books. So let's see if we can get that up a little bit more by reading books as well. So what I thought I would do is do a shorty sprint where I read a bunch of short books today. I am going to be home right now, 9:45, until around 4:45. So I have a few hours of reading that I could do, and I'm just gonna plow through as many short books as I can. So let me show you. The reason I got this idea is because I'm currently reading Mrs. S by K. Patrick. This is brand new, okay? I just got this like last week. I set it on the counter and I spilled an entire thing of water over it, so it's a bit crunchy. So I want to read this, and if I enjoy it enough, I will buy a not crunchy version and give this to a new home. Or it's just too crunchy for my taste. Other people might enjoy a good crunchy book. So far I'm liking this. It takes place at a boarding school. What's not to love, okay? Then I picked out 3 other shorties that I thought I could get through. This is A Shining. I don't know what it's about, but it is super tiny. Then The Pole, which was recommended to me or to the world by Anne Novella. So we'll see how this one goes. And then finally, finally, The Last Language by Jennifer Du Bois. This one really spoke to me and past experiences I've had, because I believe it's about a woman who starts working with somebody that has autism or is nonverbal in some way for some reason. And I think that she ends up getting the person to communicate through typing. And then I think they end up falling in love, which is a bit weird, a bit of a weird power dynamic in my opinion. But the reason I want to read it is because I have similar experience with somebody who was not nonverbal, but rarely verbal, telling me some things via typing. So if that story pertains to this book, then I'll share it when I'm actually reading the book. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna eat breakfast. My apartment is completely clean except for my bedroom, which I'm like kind of redoing my whole bed setup situation. So I might do that. I have been teaching myself how to play clarinet again. And right now, none of my neighbors are home. So it would also be a good time to play clarinet for like 10 minutes because that's all my embouchure can handle. But yeah, then I'll be reading most of the day. So come hang out with me. Hello, it is 3 o'clock and my first shorty is done. So I'm not really sure how many shorties I'm actually gonna get through today. But I did finish Mrs. S, who I keep wanting to call Mrs. K. And I do think that I probably need to get myself a copy that's not crunchy, which is fine because I have so many gift cards in so many different bookstores. So yeah, that'll not be my money, really. That's getting me a not crunchy, water damaged copy. Anyway, if you don't know what Mrs. S, if you don't know what Mrs. S is about, it is about this woman from Australia who moves to England and gets a job at a like posh boarding school for girls. And she is a lesbian, and she meets other lesbians while she is working at the school. However, everything is kind of secretive and like not supposed to be out in the open. And she ends up having this steamy affair with somebody that's in a position of power. So there's a lot of tension for the majority of the book before things actually get going. And then there is tension even when things get going just because of the power dynamic, the power difference. And I loved the ending. Yeah, so if you read it, let me know what you think of the ending. But I really like to kind of talk in code and not give it away for people who haven't read it. I mean, it's literary fiction. It's not like there's like any huge twists or anything like that. But I really liked the development of the main character from the start of the book to the end, and I just felt she was fierce, and I loved the ending. So yeah, let me know if you're interested in reading this. I first heard about it from Jen the librarian, and when I heard about it from her, I didn't feel like anyone was talking about it, and now loads of people are reading it. And I'm trying to catch up on past story times videos. And there was one of them, which I don't even know if I commented or if I finished watching, but there was one of them where Sean said, all the cool kids are reading this. Yes, that is true. That is true. And it's probably all because of Jen the librarian. Anyway, yeah, on to the next shorty. Hello. I'm in my parents' basement because for Christmas, I made my mom this book that said, Mom and Karen's Year of Fun. And for February, I promised her a massage. So I came over last night and I gave her an hour massage, which was lovely. And then I slept over, and today we were just hanging out. She has a heart MRI that we're gonna go to together. We're gonna go to lunch. We might walk the dog together. It's gonna be great. But I am continuing this vlog because yesterday I was expecting to read all the books and I read one. So let's see if I can read another one or two today.
You were women, aren't you?
Okay, so I started my shortest shorty, and it's really good so far, but it's very unsettling. Basically, this guy is bored, so he just decides to go for a drive, and he just like randomly turns left or right, like without really caring, like he's just on an adventure. Well, then he's on this road that just like is through the forest or whatever, and he gets stuck, and there's like no one there to help him because he's in the middle of nowhere. And then it starts to snow, and he's just like walking, like trying to figure out if there's anybody nearby who would be able to help him, like get his car pulled out of this spot where it's stuck or something. Like he's just stranded. Which, wouldn't it be kind of fun to do this? Just go for a random editing Karen here. So I was editing this clip that you are about to see. And all of a sudden, it got real weird, and I was like, am I having a stroke on video? Like, what is going on? Apparently, my phone switched to slow motion somehow. It has only happened 2 other times. One, when I was talking about ghosts. Secondly, when I was talking about God. And thirdly, when I was talking about going on a trip into the woods. I feel like this is very ominous.
You gotta help me disappear from all those voices that I fear, and all the moments I can handle 'cause I'm different. You have to promise to stay near. Oh, you're always telling me the truth. That's why I lean on you. You got the mind to see what's coming, and you're my ears when I can't hear.
Okay, so I'm on a walk with my mom's dog, but I thought I would talk about the books that I read or almost finished today. So when she was having her heart MRI, I finished an entire book, but it was 48 pages, so it's not actually that big of a deal. It was called The Shining by Foss or something like that. Anyway, I realized I read another book by that author, Alice at the Fire or something like that. Anyway, this book was really good. I really, really liked it. It was like kind of like unsettling, and there was a lot of tension. Basically, I think I might have already said this, but this guy is bored, so he goes basically on a drive and ends up kind of on this road that just basically goes like into the woods or through the woods or something like that. And his car gets stuck, and so he basically starts to wander looking for help. But then it gets dark, it starts to snow, and he becomes very cold. Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, I don't really know how much I should say after that, but I guess I think it says it on the back that then he sees this figure, this shining figure, and it communicates with him, but in a very weird way, like almost like through his mind or something, or at least that's the way I'm imagining it. And basically the figure's job is just to follow him, but he's not gonna like lead him out of the woods or anything. He just is following our main character. And like later on, his parents appear in the woods and all this stuff. And I definitely think I have an opinion on what happens in the end, and I think that's probably meant to be quite clear, but I am curious for other people, like is that what I was supposed to think? Like tell me if I was right about the ending, or if you have anything else to say, because it was kind of like unsettling and kind of weird. But yeah, I think the ending was quite clear and not super ambiguous, but I'm still interested in what other people have to say. Okay, so the other book that I read was, well, I'm not done with it yet. My mom's appointment got done like right before I finished, but I'll talk about it so far. And it's called The Last Language, and I don't remember the author's name, but I'll put it up later. The Last Language follows our main character, who is this 31-year-old woman who is a doctoral student at this prestigious university. I think it was I think it was Harvard. Anyway, and she is working on like her dissertation and all that stuff, and she has a small child at home, and she's pregnant with another child when all of a sudden her husband dies. And she is encouraged, aka forced, to stop attending this school, and I don't 100% get the whole situation why, but there's like something shady going on about why she was forced to like take a leave of absence or something like that. Anyway, so because she's forced to take a leave of absence, then her like grant or whatever that she was basically doing like research work and stuff at the university, and now she can't do that because she was forced to leave for a bit or something, and so she needs another job, and so she ends up finding a job basically for these people who are researching basically like assistive communication for people with like nonverbal autism or various other conditions that would kind of make it difficult for you to communicate verbally. And they basically think that communication and language is like the basis of thought, and if you don't have language, then you don't have thoughts. And so it's all this research on like basically, can these people communicate? And so she ends up getting assigned to this guy named Sam. He lives with his mom because he has like autism and is nonverbal, but he's 28 years old. And she starts basically working with him using this like typing sort of keyboard sort of a thing, where she supports his hand, but he like points to the letters and spells stuff. So, before I say more about this book, I do think it would probably be good for me to kind of explain why I was drawn to this book and my personal connection to it. So first heard about it from Eyes on Indie because it is an indie book published by Indie Press, and I am a special education teacher, so definitely very interested in autism, and actually I'm more interested in emotional impairments, but anyway, I have worked with loads of people that have autism, and so this idea is very familiar to me, and this research is like real stuff that people have done, and what they have mostly found out is that the majority of times it's not actually the person with autism that's doing the typing, but it's the like guide, or I don't know what they're called, but the person either intentionally or unintentionally is guiding the person with autism to find certain letters. And so it looks really cool, but it's not actually truthful. It's not actually the person with the disability communicating. In addition, when I was a younger teacher, you can't just teach and have enough money. So I would do loads of like private tutoring and stuff on the side, and I ended up working with this family that was in a suburb of Chicago, and the mom and the dad were both dentists. They both had the same name. One had the feminine version of the name, the other had the masculine version. They were Catholic. They were just very straight-laced, type A sort of people. And I was there to tutor their son who had autism, and he was a teenager with autism. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at teaching reading, math, and making tutoring fun, and all that sort of stuff. But they wanted me to work with him also on cursive. And I learned cursive as a kid, but it's not something that I'm, like, people don't write in cursive. People who are my age don't. Like, if you look at, like, writing, you can tell someone's age by if they write in cursive or if they write in print. Fact. This family wanted their son to write in cursive, and I have absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think that people need to learn how to write cursive, not only for the interest level that kids usually have in it, but also the fine motor skills. And when you learn how to write cursive, then you also learn how to read cursive, and thus a whole bunch of historical documents are able to be read, because without knowing cursive, you're kind of taking away a huge part of history from people and not allowing them access to read it because they don't understand cursive. So anyway, I worked with the kid on his cursive, but I thought it looked quite fine. And every week, his mom would kind of give me corrections on really making sure that he works really hard on his cursive, and like he tries extra hard that week. And I began to get frustrated week after week because his cursive looked perfectly fine to me, and yet his mom found fault with it. And I was personally annoyed with them that, number one, I didn't understand what she was looking for. I didn't know what was wrong with his cursive, but also that they had such high standards for him that what he was doing was not okay. So anyway, I don't know if I brought my computer every week or just a few weeks, but he started typing me messages. And this was not me guiding his hand. This was him completely independently typing to me and telling me about how mad his mom was at me, which obviously, like, thanks for the heads up, but I already know that. And just telling me all sorts of other, like, kind of secrets about his family. Not super serious secrets, just like about how his mom yells all the time, stuff like that. And so that's my kind of connection to this book, about people who are nonverbal or close to nonverbal using typing as a way to communicate, and how they are easily understood when they're writing like that. So anyway, in this book, the woman who's helping him kind of starts to fall for him through these communications. And first of all, it's just really interesting because I know the research about them on if these communications are true or not. And then also the way he was communicating Just didn't seem like that much would be able to come out of him in such a short amount of time as far as typing and all this stuff. And they had like this flirty banter back and forth. Next thing you know, she's like naked in his bedroom at his mom's house, and they're like living their lives. And I just felt like, first of all, I understand that there's this like ableist part of me that is like, why would she be attracted to somebody with such severe disability that he lives with his mom? And I understand that, and I'm like calling myself out for that. But at the same time, it's such a boundary crossing to go that far at his mom's house when you're supposed to be working with him in a professional way. So I guess I understand how if you're somebody with autism that pretty much only lives in your house and doesn't really go anywhere, do anything, like how are you gonna meet people to be with? But at the same time, there's this whole thing about like, did he actually consent? And also, if that's your job in a professional way, and you do start to feel some kind of way, then you need to stop that professional relationship and then maybe consider continuing your relationship outside of your work. But you can't keep seeing them as their communication therapist sort of a person and be sleeping with them. I just couldn't. That was so unethical. It's hard to walk a dog and vlog. Anyway, I'm not done with the book yet. I'm gonna finish. I'm probably only have like 20 minutes left of it, but so far it's like I kind of like the idea, but I'm not impressed with the unethical behavior. And in addition, I'm not really shocked that people with autism can communicate. Like, this is something I experienced myself and something I know about, and it's not, there's no shock factor really. Okay guys, so I finished the last language and I actually did like the ending. So overall I gave it 3 stars. So it was fine. I have decided to continue this vlog a bit longer because I have like a to-do list that I have basically added things to. So I think originally the only other book that I had was The Pole. So I still want to read this one, and I think I might get to it next actually. Let's see what I can get to tonight. But then also I realized that on Sunday I have book club. So I want to read Homemade Love for book club, which is by J. California Cooper, and it is pretty short. I don't know how many pages, I haven't looked, but that needs to get done as well. And then that made me think of that also I'm trying to participate in the Book Naturalist book club, and they have 2 books this month, but one of them is a shorty. And that is called Black Faces, White Spaces, Reimagining the Relationships of African Americans to the Great Outdoors by Carolyn Finney. So I want to get to that one too. And then I was just thinking about my trip to Petoskey, and I got this shorty, Glaciers, so I want to read that one too. So I have like 4 more books I would like to get to, and then I think I'll just end the vlog whenever I'm done with those, which hopefully I can get 1 more done tonight. But I also am in the mood to like chill on my couch, be lazy, and like watch like true crime or like paranormal something. I don't know, we'll see. And I majorly have to catch up on BookTube. And just because I keep adding to my list, this is not something I'm going to finish right now, but something I wanted to talk about. So I live in Muskegon, but I grew up in Ottawa County, and my church is in Ottawa County, and a lot of the stuff that I do is in Ottawa County. My family lives in Ottawa County, whatever. So they have basically, their local government has been overtaken by conservatives. Like, since the pandemic, basically, there were all these signs demanding freedom and like anti-vax, anti-mask, like all this stuff. And those people have completely taken over local government, including this guy named John Gibbs, who used to work for Trump and is now in charge of the county. Since he has actually been put on leave. So I'm not really sure what the detail is about that. I need to look into it, but if I find out more, I'll put it on. Anyway, luckily, even though I don't live in Ottawa County, it's something I'm super passionate about because I grew up there, and yeah, we don't want the conservatives to take over because they're doing things that are not okay. They are not just taking over with different viewpoints, but they're basically silencing everyone else and trying to basically have a source of power as opposed to leadership. So I'm lucky to be friends with a lot of people that are standing up against this, and also belong to a church that is very, very vocal and has even sued, our priest sued the local government because each meeting starts with a prayer, and he has been denied the opportunity to offer a prayer for a really long time. So he actually ended up filing a lawsuit. Anyway, there's a lot to say that my priest, along with 2 other priests, I'm not sure what churches they're from. All 3 of them are Christian. I just don't know all the denominations. I'll have to look into it. Created this statement that basically is like all these churches unified, saying that as Christians, we don't believe in what they're trying to do in Ottawa County against all the groups of people that they are targeting. And the statement was also made into a Bible study. So this is like a shorty that's connected to that goes through a little snippet from what they said in this massive statement, and then leads you through different Bible verses that support, or not really verses, but like sections of the Bible passages that support basically what they said in the message, and then like reflection questions. So you're not just like blindly following these liberals that are trying to have government be shared and be a democracy and all this stuff. But you are thinking for yourself and reflecting on the passages. And so this is just split up into, I think, 11 weeks of that. And I participated last night going to a session where there was like a group discussion over 2 weeks of discussions. And yeah, so I want to get through this independently as well, because I'm not always able to go to the meetings. But I just think it's so badass, and it just makes me love my church even more. Okay, so today I was gonna try and go to 2 yoga classes in a row for 2.5 hours of yoga, but my body is so sore. Like, I am taking a rest day today, and I'm just gonna go to the yoga studio for a smoothie instead.
Come closer, dance for me. Easy, tiger, easy, let your hair down. Closer, let me see all your million faces and all your million mistakes. You don't need to hide. Come closer so that we can be together.
Hey guys, it's like 9:30 on Saturday, and I think I'm gonna end the vlog here. I just had loads of fun with a friend. We went to this 2-person play at the library for Black History Month, and it was amazing. It was basically like imagining that Martin Luther King Jr. had a visitor the evening before his death, and it was just like their conversations, and it was super deep and super powerful and really, really good. And then we went out to dinner afterwards to a place I have not been to before, and we stayed there like 3.5 hours. So that was super fun. Loads of good conversation. But the reason I'm ending the vlog here is because I'm a little sick of shorties. So instead I picked up this book, Come and Get It, by Kylie Reed. It's her 2nd book, and it is my signed book from Parnassus First Edition Book Club this month. And it's also, I think, the book that Mercedes is reading this month for her book club. And I just felt like reading like a bigger novel, so that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna wrap up this Shorty sprint vlog. But thank you guys for watching, and thank you for all your lovely comments. Like, the comments make my day so much. It's so nice to chat with people that you wouldn't normally have a chance to chat with, so thank you so much, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day or night.